Humans, or humanoids, if you are onto this hypothetical theory that I have, that isn't necessarily real, or that it is or isn't real, but it could be, that supercomputer machine brains could exist. Well, knowing what we know about computers nowadays, is what I want to make out of this short video is that basically computers are consciously and physically usually um, single pipeline throughput when they calculate. So, like the brain matrix, like say you were going to build a brain out of electronics, the brain matrix of um, a humanoid would actually be analog and what you call multi-sense, as if it were three-dimensional geometrics, where there's multiple nodes on a pipeline that run out to peripherals or parallels or series among a transverse noding of the same conscious single pipeline. And it just goes from a single point into some kind of geometrical wiring of like basically devices or small components that turn into transistors or processors or batteries or capacitors or whatever, and then they're really small, and then they basically convert that into information and memory, and then even an actual mind matrix of images, if you will, like maybe a computer screen or something. And that basically is how the difference in a real human's geometrical mind might work, like versus a machine or any other creature, is that the geometrics are such a way that they exist themselves as a unit that necessarily can't compare to a different unit, only in virtue but not in actual geometry. But in the humanoid matrix, if there was people in a supercomputer humanoid matrix, it all has to come down to a single pipeline at some point to keep the matrix together, but it can have parallel series nodes, transversely even, where it has to control like these networks of conscious matrix, but at some point there is a single stream that has to be divided into multiples. But to keep the matrix in real time, it actually is a maximum of physical frequency that has to do it. So like the maximum physical frequency is absolutely like something that has to be attained in order to capacitate every humanoid matrix in the matrix of a certain matrix quality, of a human matrix mind quality, of the visual spectrums and the bodily spectrums and peripherals and things like that. So like it would have to move around, and it has to, there's so much data capacitated in knowing how to even measure the peripheral conscious, what you call the matrix consciousness of, say, a humanoid or a human. Comparison of realities, the two would eventually not align, and the data is of a certain physical that has to be tested through all outlets or every tool that you can possibly assert in the quest for discovering what reality is, humanoid matrix versus a real human world of physics where there's spirituality and gods and magic and just all sorts of things that are confusing, light, vectors, confusion, ignorance, thoughtlessness, perfection at the same time, everything where it all rolls into one. All physical virtues versus all false virtues, and everything that could possibly align with that in a geometrical vector way. You put all that together and you hack the matrix by coming to physical principles, and you decide if you're real or not. And our three-dimensional brains in reality wouldn't be like a supercomputer, but we as humans three-dimensionally can compete with supercomputers at the gamma octobit, where we need to discover the full potential of the octobit, which is supposedly the highest frequency that we can conceive in our physical world right now. It could be different. We don't know our particle theory very well as we thought. We're just beginning in particle theory. We think there's a frequency. There's some people that think the frequency goes higher in gamma, but we don't know. And if that's true, it's hard to discover because we don't have the tools to figure it out mentally yet. But we think that it capacitates some of the 7.888 billion people that are allegedly on the earth, if they really are. And to stay awake for all of them in 24 hours while viewing the Matrix in different color and different size, shape, whatever, just moving around, looking around, turning your head, being a parent and a visual. It would cause the matrix to be at full capacity of the throughput of one single line of control of the real time of the matrix of all network humanoids that are in real time upon the earth that we're on right now. So like if we were all on one plane back to back, putting our hands on our shoulders, just looking around on one part of the earth, everyone on the earth, with maybe minus a few people or whatever, you could essentially hack the matrix, and it should double the frames because it has to predict the random motions of a humanoid, of the differences in geometry and everything, all the physics. The octobit is the maximum throughput, so it would basically overload and things would glitch because of all the current real-time people. Thank you.